Mr. Speaker and members, we had a loss in our House family this weekend. We had handouts, and I apologize for not having my name on them. We were I was a little bit short-sighted in that, but handouts on everybody's desk. And unfortunately this weekend, Soliving K. Kong, who's our Assistant Postmaster for the House, died. He had not been well, but it was not unexpected, but it was sudden. And I'm going to read a couple of comments for the record from the handouts that were distributed to everybody, and then I would ask for a moment of silence. I think the handout that says "Coming to America," I think the first paragraph of that sums up very well the man that we all knew as the happy mailman. You saw him around the halls every day, and he came around and delivered our mail. And he was there. He was part of the place. He was part of us. He was there for 25 years doing this job. And I'll just read the first paragraph. Soliving K. Kong fits the part of the happy and easygoing mailman as he makes his daily rounds through the Capitol complex as Assistant Postmaster for the House. He was a lot more than that. We just noticed him as the postman. He was the guy that brought us our mail. He chatted for a few minutes. He was just here. He was part of our family. But he wasn't from here originally. He grew up in Laos. He was, like a lot of people at that time, greatly affected by the war there. And he worked at one point as a military policeman for the United States Central Intelligence Agency. After the communists took over, he and a lot of his family members had problems. They lived in the jungle. It was a very rough existence. They eventually making their way to refugee camps in Thailand. They went from Thailand, and I can't even imagine what they had to go through to get to Thailand, much less from Thailand to the United States. After they got here, he arrived in New York in 1980. Sometime shortly after that, coming to Minnesota, had a number of jobs before a neighbor finally got him a job working here. He worked as a house page for a year and a half before becoming the Assistant Postmaster in 1987. Two other things I would like to add when we think of him as the happy postmaster and a guy who was pretty private and was just always sort of around. I didn't know this, and I bet not many people here know this. He was a Hmong clan leader in Minnesota, one of 18 in the state. He was the clan leader. It was selected by 70 families with the last name of Kong to represent them. And one other thing that I didn't know, and I bet none of us knew about him, the happy postman, is that in March, well, I take it back, I don't know what year this was, but a few years ago he became a United States citizen. And so we think about that, and we think that somebody was a daily part of all of our lives for a long time, and now is suddenly gone. Mr. Speaker and members, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to remember Soliving K. Kong and his service to us, to the House, and to the state of Minnesota.
Members, please rise for a moment of silence.